Yes, sir. Mod Tricker. Back up in this thing, man. Today, I'll be reacting to some creepy videos that'll send you back down the rabbit hole. Let's get it.
This is a guy named Aaron Berman. He is the Misinformation Policy Director at Meta. And it even says right in his LinkedIn at the top, former CIA. And if you go down, Senior Project Policy Manager since 2019 at Meta. But from March 2002 to July 2019, 17 years he was in the CIA as a Senior Analytical Manager. We've also got Deborah B., who's the Trust and Safety at Meta, and she worked there from 2022 till now, but the 9 years previous, she worked at the CIA as a data analyst and intelligence analyst. We have Cameron Harris, Trust and Safety at Meta, former CIA. We've got this guy named Hagen Barnett, who's the Trust and Safety Operations Lead at Meta, and he's the head of harmful content operations. He manages dangerous organizations and individuals. And back in 2006, 2008, he was a Central Intelligence Agency contractor. There's this part from the article over here at mintpressnews.com. And it's a section of the article titled Spooks in Every Department. Mint Press has found former representatives of the U.S. national security state in virtually every politically sensitive department at Facebook. This includes even higher levels. Between 2020 and 2021, Chris Rose was a member of Meta's Governance Oversight Board. He spent 6 years at the CIA as a political and counterterrorism analyst. There's also a considerable overlap with the U.S. government and the company's front-facing staff. Katia Koroma was plucked from her position as the FBI spokesman. Jeffrey Gelman was the policy communication manager for Facebook's oversight board, was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and held influence in both the State Department and National Security Council. And executive communications spokesman Kevin Lewis spent many years in the White House as President Obama's spokesman. I mean, the article goes on and on. And this is just an article on Facebook. So if you can imagine what's happening at Twitter, what have you, I'm sure it's insane.
Based on this article, it's looking like Meta is a government agent retirement home.
DJ Shaquille O'Neal shows demonic visuals at his first 360 show that sold out. Oddly enough, he commented this on one of my videos a while ago, and he said, "They even got me, man. Save me, someone please." Now, he could be trolling, or is this the truth in plain sight? And when you take a look at his visuals, I mean, someone getting crucified with chains. You have this woman praying with horns on her head, and I mean, you got skulls with horns on them and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying these two are correlated, but Shaq is a open and proud Freemason and he wears his ring all the time, but just very interesting.
Now, I know these are just visuals to go along with the music, but I think we know what team Shaq is playing for now, and it's not the Lakers, it's the Los Angeles Baphomets.
Wow, I have never seen anything like this before in my life. It's a red sky. There's a major storm coming in. Wow, I have never seen anything like this. Just wanted to share. It's Minnesota, and of course we're blue. But wow, look at that. Wow. Oh, I gotta show you this. Over here, maybe you can see that there's almost a rainbow in the sky. Wow, I have never in my life witnessed anything like this before. It is the weirdest looking color I've ever seen. Got a heck of a storm coming up. Holy smoly.
I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for why the sky turned red, but if this is due to weather modification, then they need to not go so heavy next time, because I would think I walked into the apocalypse if this was me.
Speaking of Australia, they had the first person to ever be frozen.
What do you mean?
Cryo chamber.
It's wild, dude.
And like, he woken up later?
For the first time, they've successfully defrosted brain tissue. For a long time, it was really hard to come out of frozen, but they've successfully been able to like reawaken brain tissue.
That sounds terrible.
So here it is. The man's 80 years old. The company calls patient one. He this month and underwent the complex process to be cryogenically frozen with the hope of coming back to life in the future.
Wait, but how can it resuscitate your life?
That's my thing. That's even scary.
As long as they...
Oh, so like if technology develops enough to where they'll unfreeze him, there's no way.
They're put into a cooling chamber filled with liquid nitrogen at negative 190 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that is, but that's still,
we're not going to do that.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Then he's transferred into a vacuum. He's vacuum sealed.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Is he really frozen?
Maybe, I don't know, but they say it's myth.
Did you see that one commercial? I think we talked about it before. And they literally showed like Walt Disney coming out of a chamber of him being frozen.
They're just like joke because they talk about it. It's like a joke.
I don't know, man.
I feel like the only way that this could possibly work is if they freeze you while you're still alive, and even then it's questionable. But if Walt Disney is actually frozen and they figure out how to unthaw him, he's gonna be happy to find out how much people are willing to pay to go to Disney World now. He might pass away again from excitement.
2 suns that were spotted in the sky. Also, something that I found interesting is that you have these ancient drawings of 2 suns. An ancient cave drawing apparently unearthed in 1969, dating back to 4500 BC. So this one clearly has 2 reflections.
Yeah.
Here's a picture. You see like what would be the source light in the back, and then what we see as the sun below the bridge.
See, the first one's giving us that glare, that sun ray.
Yep. Look, North Dakota, March 23rd, 2023. Yeah, this one right here, where you can literally see the 2 suns through the trees. Watch, they zoom in, and look, you can see
yes,
2 different suns, and they're both behind the trees. So how does that happen? If it's a lens flare, it would not do that, right?
Yeah.
I personally haven't seen 2 suns in the sky, so maybe the second sun is only visible on photos and videos, but that would explain these temperatures, because there's been a couple days this summer where I walk outside and start sweating profusely like I worked a 12-hour shift as a hibachi chef. Maybe this is due to some sort of sonar technology or military testing that they just don't want to disclose, because the last time I checked, fish live in water, so I don't know how this would be caused by flooding.
Welcome back to Strange DARPA Projects you probably haven't heard of, Part 2. As we talked about before, DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Today we're going to be talking about the advanced plant technologies that they're working on. Pause to read if you're interested. Mainly the gist of it is right here. But DARPA is working on ways to harness plants' mechanisms for sensing and responding to environmental stimuli. So they're going to have monitors on these plants, so they'll be able to know if there's radioactivity in the air, what the temperature is, if there's an earthquake, all kinds of strange things that plants know what's happening. These are some of the things that they're going to be able to monitor via ground, air, and space monitors. So is this a project they should pursue or not?
Leave it to DARPA to figure out how to weaponize plants. I wouldn't be surprised if they figure out how to weaponize oxygen next.
Okay, then of course it's 3 a.m. Oh yes, 12 a.m. I hear, girl. How's your baby though? Some chicken, some cute. Oh. I hate humans. Humans I hate. So
It's probably all that orange hair dye making her short circuit.
Hey, it's Clamham. So more than a few people have been asking me to look into the radar anomaly I posted just about an hour ago, and I already need to give an update because you won't believe what I found when I dug deeper onto what causes these strange geometric shapes. Normally I can reverse look up images and I can get an answer very simply. This is an unusual one because when you reverse search this image, all you get are repeats and echoes of the post. What is this strange radar anomaly in Mexico? I had found 2 different posts from meteorologists saying they were radar tests. So given that they're meteorologists and I'm not, I thought that must be it. But I dug deeper specifically for these strange geometric shapes that are very, very specific. All fingers point to magnetic flux. I started to search for the images most similar to the radar anomaly, and I wound up at something called ATLAS, the ATLAS experiment at CERN with the Large Hadron collider. Trust me, I don't know where this is going either, but it is literally the only thing that I could find that ties into the strange patterning. Having said that, I did find, apparently, and I have no way to verify this, at one of the sightings in Mexico, people posted pictures of clouds like this. They say this radar anomaly works out to be about 300 kilometers wide. So here's the thing. For one of these, Mexico's power department in that area said they had a power situation that could, a power irregularity. What could cause a power irregularity that might also be generating an image like this in radar and ties into magnetic flux? Many people believe it was a UFO. Frankly, I'm not going to say it wasn't. I saw Nope, where UFOs hide in clouds. If I was trying to hide my personal UFO, I would fly in a cloud or make a handy little cloud to disguise me.
I feel like if this was only just a simple radar test, that would be common knowledge that you could easily Google. So maybe CERN is opening up portals, or it's a UFO shaped like Tony Stark's arc reactor.
You can see this strange carving on the wall. Can you tell me what this is? Yes, it is a car, just like a modern day car with 4 wheels. You can see the body of the car here. You can see that it has 1 door carved on it. And this guy is driving it. He has 1 hand on the steering wheel. And on the other hand, he's blowing a horn. He's honking by pressing this bulb-like thing. These types of horns are called the bugle air horns. And when you press them, it honks. And look at the big light in front of the car. A giant light source is mounted in the front. How can a temple built 800 years ago have a car carved on it? Did cars exist 800 years ago?
And this 100% looks like a car, so either they were able to see into the future or the ancients were whipping around in 1955 drop-top cabriolets.
I was watching the ISS quote-unquote live, and check this out. Pay attention. Right in this area. Whoop. I mean, for the love of God.
At this point, just get rid of the entire production team, because Stanley Kubrick did a better job than this in the 60s, and he didn't even have access to CGI technology.
Did you know in 2019, Salem, Massachusetts debuted the world's largest Ouija board? Look, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, considering Salem is known as being a big witchcraft place. So what are some things you can expect to happen to you if you play with a Ouija board? Demonic possession is highly likely. Demonic visitation, items moving randomly throughout your house, being sick all the time, bad dreams, relationships sabotaged, and life in general sabotaged.
This has to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. You can channel every demon known to man with this.
Per the IRS, folks who fail to file will owe 5% of the unpaid taxes for each month a tax return is late, maxing out after 5 months. After that, the penalty will continue until the tax is paid, up to a max of 25% of the unpaid tax.
Unbelievable.
From time to time, the State Department hands the IRS a list of people who have been taken hostage.
If being a whole hostage still isn't enough to get a break from the IRS, then nothing is. That's just inhumane.
A U.S. government report now links fluoride to lower IQs in children. Although there have been numerous other reports on this, this is the first time that a federal agency has connected the two. Fluoride is used to strengthen teeth and reduce the risk of cavities by replacing lost minerals. So, fluoride is added to our drinking water in low quantities. The studies were conducted by the National Toxicology Program and were conducted in China, Canada, Iran, India, Pakistan, and Mexico. It concluded that if more than 1.5 milligrams of fluoride is added per liter of water, that it consistently associated with lower IQ levels. Although it didn't specifically state how many IQ points lower, it's estimated that it's about 2 or 3. While the World Health Organization considers 1.5 milligrams or lower a safe level, federal health officials recommend only 0.7 milligrams per liter of water, which is less than half of what the World Health Organization recommends. And the Environmental Protection Agency maintains the requirement that it cannot exceed more than 4 milligrams per liter of water. This is in place to prevent skeletal fluorosis, which causes weaker bones and stiffness. Roughly 1.9 million people just inside of the US are on water systems that use 1.5 milligrams of fluoride per liter or higher.
Sure, my teeth are strong, but I would rather my mouth look like Freddie Mercury's and have those extra 1 or 2 IQ points back.
You're managed by the company you look after S Club 7, you used to look after the Spice Girls Simon Fuller. Have they tried to mould you in any way though if people ask you to do things to change the way you look or speak or behave?
Yeah, one of them tried to mold me into a big triangle shape, and I went, no.
If she said no to rehab, then she was definitely going to say no to being molded into a triangle shape, aka Illuminati. I don't know why they tried.
Okay, someone want to explain this? I removed this track lighting from a property today. I think the lightning... Why is this lit up? This is in a garbage pile from a remodel. This is... I'm scared to touch it. This is disconnected track lighting. Look at this. Disconnected track lighting. There's the wires right there. 120 volt LED bulbs sitting in a garbage pile in my driveway. I shouldn't be touching this. This is disconnected track lighting, completely lit up. What the heck? What the heck is going on?
I know they make light bulbs that have emergency batteries, but if that was the case, it would stay lit the entire time and not turn off when he picked it up like that. So maybe he just discovered free energy. I would reinstall it.
This sign was in a window in a grocery store in New York where it said that it was collecting your biometric identification data. While a lot of people think that it's just for catching criminals and stuff like that, I think it's more along the lines of corporate America. As the world gets more advanced, we're getting like TV screens for windows and stuff, and they can advertise stuff that's catered to you like your phone does. Like, even though you haven't searched anything about getting a new PlayStation, you haven't looked up PlayStation, but you talked to your friend that one time about getting a PlayStation, and your phone picked it up, so they're advertising PlayStation to you. I think it's going to essentially be used in the same way. Like, your phone overhears you talking about something, and it's advertised to you when you go in the grocery store. Not only will they have your biometrics, they're also going to have microchips implanted into you so you can have your ID and your credit card, and you're going to have your Google glasses with all your stuff popping up on it as you're walking through the grocery store. It just seems like corporate America is just getting larger and larger and more inside of your brain. I mean, obviously these inventions are awesome, but we're going to turn into idiocracy. Everything's going to come out of a vending machine.
She makes a great point about this technology being used to advertise to us better, but I feel like it could also be used for the dynamic pricing, where you walk in the store, they recognize who you are and how much you make and change prices per individual.
I want to talk about this scary video that's been circulating.
There's nothing.
So this video was taken late at night on Carranza Road, a famously haunted road in New Jersey. And in it, the guy's sensor keeps going off like there's something circling the car, but he keeps cutting back to the back camera showing that there's nothing there. And maybe you're thinking, yeah, whatever, the guy's sensors are probably broken, but there are a ton of sightings just like this on this exact road. And it's all because of this monument we see at the end of the video, which is supposedly cursed. I'm going to tell you about the monument, but before I do, this is all coming from this week's episode of the podcast about terrifying true urban legends. So this is that monument. It's buried deep in the woods in New Jersey. And it's to honor Emilio Carranza, who was one of the most famous pilots in Mexico's history. One night, Emilio was flying from New York back to Mexico when a huge storm hit, and he crashed in New Jersey right where the monument is. And now all sorts of weird stuff is seen by this monument. People say they see lights in the sky that look like a plane crashing. They say their sensors go off like something circling the car. They even see faces coming out of the woods sometimes. And all of that makes this sighting even more terrifying.
If that's the case, then I wouldn't be stopped in the middle of the road filming it. I would be worried about Emilio getting in the truck and riding home with me.
Today I've got some bad news about our food supply and the general health of the planet, because global food production is being limited by a lack of pollinators, i.e. pollinating insects. And increasing the amount of pollinating insects could actually help improve our diminished crop yields. In case you didn't know, there has been a global insect population decline over the last, honestly, 50 to 100 years, thanks to a whole bunch of things that we're up to, from pesticides to agriculture, deforestation, nitrification, driving cars, drought, just all sorts of stuff that humanity is doing is resulting in less insects, more or less across the board. What's interesting about this, though, is that the foods that rely most on pollinators tend to be nutritionally dense foods such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes, and also culturally relevant dishes. They don't really affect things very much so, like, if I can find it in here, rice and wheat, which don't require pollinators to reproduce. However, we do need pollinators to make nuts and berries and stuff like that. This article indicates that the ones that are most affected by it are blueberry, coffee, and apple crops, which is a shame because those are three very, very popular things. And this was done via a statistical analysis on 1,500 different fields in all around the world, and they logged more than 2,000 bee visitations and compared that with information that's available in an open source database of 3 decades of field observations of bees and other pollinating insects and plants, which is very, very impressive. I personally didn't know there was an open source bee visitation database, but it makes sense to exist given the scale of the problem. I thought this was very interesting. It's very concerning. I do like to try to cover insect population decline on this, I guess, science TikTok, but it's hard to get people to care because bugs are creepy, nasty little crawlies, and they bite and they sting and they're annoying. But we need them. We need them for our food.
For some reason, this makes me think about Bill Gates and how he's so worried about the food supply. Maybe he should worry about increasing the bee population with his resources instead of trying to decrease the human population if he really wanted to help.
I've discovered 25 that are all related to each other. Yeah. They all share one ancestor. If you've been following me, you already know about the Fuller unalivers. But did you know that the Fuller line was Fowler before that? And that changes everything. Remembering that all 25 of these are related through one ancestor, making them all cousins, we've got H.H. Holmes, who has a triple dose of this Fuller Fowler. We got Mr. Donster, Mr. Gacy. Welcome Pee Wee Gaskins to the list because he's a Fowler, and that is the same line. We got Charles Manson. We've got Casey Anthony. Yeah, that's right, we got 2 girls on the list. We also have Diane Downs. Welcome Leonard Lake to the list. He is now officially on the list because he had Fowler, and he is now with the Fullers. We've got Otis Toole, Holly Crippen. We got Patrick Kearney, Michael Bear Carson. This list is so big I needed a page 2. We've got Jack Fuller, Mark Scott Thornton. We got Robert Fuller. We've got the Mensa. That's George Trappell, David Hendricks, Robert Burdella. That's right, Edmund Kemper, Lauren Thomas. And these lower 5 I've still yet to connect, but I'm 100% sure they're on the same line. We've got Jamie Fuller. We got that guy right there, Wade Wilson. Down in the bottom corner, we got Bobby Fuller. Right there is David Fuller. And this guy was confirmed with his DNA. I still have to link it with his tree. And that's Nicholas Patrick. 25 unalivers all share this ancestor. Yeah, it's getting deep.
If I was in this family, I would be looking over my shoulder at the family reunion. You can't trust nobody. I know this is just lightning, but it looks like Zeus is in those clouds powering up.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I don't know if there's an extra battery pack somewhere, but he might have the real Chucky doll. I would hide every knife in the house.
Well, here's a guy who is reaping the consequences of the education system.
Oh, wow, this is like the modern day. Oh, there it is. Wow, that's Popeye. Oh, wow. He's going to prove it's real. Wow, it's real.
I mean, he could barely get the shirt off of his muscles because they're so big.
Oh, wow.
Fighting.
Look at his arm. Not his, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Look at that.
Why would anybody want to do this?
He can probably curl 315, but you can tell he been skipping leg day. He's shaped exactly like Popeye. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.